introduce Oscar, who's the keynote speaker at the conference, the philosophy conference on the weekend, and he's come to work with us this morning, so welcome everybody, and welcome Jeanette too, who's done a lot of work in organising the conference and helped organise today, and the other visitors to the school. That's it. Oh, it's all yours.
Well, yours is a very sincere.
Yes.
Very nice. Beat the record in the presentation. Okay, well, thank you for being here. So, to participate in my Australian experience, you don't be selfish about that. But anyway, this is always very interesting because I traveled in many countries. And it was interesting to do workshop in different places, so see a bit how thinking works in different parts of the world and how. But I'm going to tell you, I have actually an interest which sometimes bother people, but I'm more interested in non-thinking than thinking. So I think what's more fascinating about the human being is how he doesn't think more than how he thinks. And so I'm just saying this so to sort of warn that you take maybe a big breath, because I might say things or ask things especially, which might sound a little bit strange, and for different reasons. It creates sometimes... yeah, no problem.
Sorry.
How are you?
I'm very good, thank you.
Very pushy people is a wheelchair.
It's probably like a
You got to compensate.
That's right, makeup.
So I want to ask you to take a big breath, you know. We have a French philosopher called Descartes, who says that to think, you have to suspend your judgment. Right? He's not saying not to judge. Judging is a fundamental aspect of human thought. Even though sometimes it has bad connotations, like in terrible words like being judgmental. I think we'll come back to this. But yeah, he's not to judge, but suspend your judgment. You know, take a time where you suspend, you observe. And when I tell the children, and I work with children, I says, you look, you listen, you think, right? Just you know, so just you're ready to things come. You don't speak, but you're ready to have things coming to you. So anyway, non-thinking is the most fascinating thing about human beings, and as well as the practical reasons. Your teachers, the teacher. If we teach, it's because there's non-thinking going on. If all there was thinking, well, we'd have to be out of a job. So we can feed our children because there is non-thinking. I'm saying this trying to motivate you either with philosophical argument or a very practical argument to convert you, at least momentarily, to a certain interest in non-thinking. Now, of course, if we had children, I would try to show you the non-thinking in the children. We say, oh, this is very interesting. But since there are no official children, we'll have unofficial children. In the case will be us, will be the children. And I'm going to try to show how us children don't think. Yes, that's a bit my job to show. And not only I want to show you this non-thinking, but I would like you to enjoy this non-thinking. The profound, joyful experience of realizing how much we don't think. Yes,
Good for a Friday.
yes, okay, I'm glad. When I say this, okay, what's going to happen? Okay, because that's a bit the idea. I would call this kind of workshop, I like to call it the art of questioning. And how do you do a good question? Well, you know, you have politicians, as far as I understand, in Australia, and if they're like politicians all over the world, you recognize a good question when the politician does not answer it, yes? Either you hear say, what is he talking about? Or if they're really smart, they have this talent, he tells a journalist, well, this is not the right question. Let me tell you what the right question is. You know, like asking, why you didn't do what you promised last time? Well, that's not the right question. What's important? Well, I will do next time. Yes? You know, so, and you'll see we all do that because politicians are I like them a lot because they are laughing. Yeah. No, but we call them, I don't know if you say this, they are our representatives, you would say such a thing,
Yeah.
you know, they represent, and I think they represented us so well, you know, and often we want to criticize them because they do things we don't like, but they represent us, like they represent it not only politically, but they represent us philosophically, and that's this representation. And I will try to show you that we do exactly the same thing. And when there's a question that we don't want, and well, we either don't answer it, or we try to change it, or we say, I don't like this kind of question, or we start looking strange. We'll do funny things. So I hope you enjoy that fun thing. That's always helpful. But I have to warn you, I lose many friends doing this kind of exercise. So I'm going to try to keep the percentage low, otherwise say I'll be alone with you. But you know, I want to show you that. But if you enjoy, then there's no problem. If you feel, you know, people feel threatened by it or don't enjoy it, then there might be a problem. But it's just, you see how funny, small little questions, you know, create a strange secondary effect called the butterfly effect. You know, like the butterfly. It's very funny. So, but if you go beyond, you know, Dante, he described this thing that between the inferno and the purgatory, there's three steps. You know, the inferno, purgatory, and then paradise. You see, you have to go across a wall of fire. You know, and a wall of fire is a terrible thing. But if you go across it, then everything's fine. And you see, it's not much. But it's a bit scary. And the main thing is that there are certain questions that socially, you know, we don't accept. Not because they're particularly, for example, intimate or things like this. I'm not a psychologist, but just because they put us in front. I'll tell you like this. I think the main problem is like when we're put in front of a constraint. And I'll give you a little question. If I ask someone, okay, you're condemned to death. What do you prefer? To be hanged or get your head cut? And of course the person says, well, I don't want either. I want to live. Well, then that's too bad, right? Because if you try to answer this question, you might find something fundamental about your own thinking. Okay? But of course it's a strange question. Who wants to either get his head cut off or to be hanged? Yes? So that kind of question we don't want. And imagine you're at a dinner, Sunday dinner, you know, feast, and say, hey, you guys, you want to get your head cut off or hanged? You know? Why can't you talk about football like anybody else? You like that? Why not? You know, it's strange, you know? Death is kind of unsavory subject beside this, and plus you're going to get killed, right? But it's interesting. If you go beyond the immediate rejection of that question, it's kind of fun, you know? No, okay, fun is something very subjective concept, but you know, I invite you to say, okay, you know, and why? Because there's when we come to, so you say, when is he coming to philosophy? Well, I thought I was already doing it, but just in case, one definition I like to give to philosophy, I call it to think the unthinkable. To think the unthinkable. And when you teach philosophy, you discover one of the main obstacles to teaching philosophy. It's not even so much that it's something abstract and complicated. It is true, but that is not the main obstacle. The main obstacle is that you read an author and suddenly say, that doesn't make any sense, right? It doesn't make any sense. Now, it's not it doesn't make any sense, but what this author, what he's inviting you to think, you know, the path he's asking you to trod is such a strange path, he said it doesn't make any sense. But if just for a moment you would not carry your own backsack full of your ideas, it makes perfect sense. It's not even complicated, it's very simple. And I'll give you an example of this, which I like to use because that's a very typical one. It's on the problem of freedom. You know, when you study freedom, so probably you'll study Descartes, come back to it. And you say, okay, Descartes, freedom, you can say when in front of a situation, you can say yes, you can say no. So that's freedom. So people say, okay, yeah, that's fine, I agree, that makes a lot of sense. And then you study Spinoza. You say Spinoza, what is freedom for Spinoza? For Spinoza, freedom is when you become conscious of your own determination. For example, I want to eat. Now, if I think I eat or not eat, I'm free. Therefore, for Spinoza, you're not free. You're free when you become conscious that the reason you want to eat is not because you want to eat, it's because you have a biological existence, you have a body and your body wants to eat. You don't want to eat. It's illusion, it says. Your body wants to eat. You have no part in this decision, you know? Your body wants to eat. So you just have, now the rabbit doesn't do that. The rabbit, he says, I want a carrot, he wants a carrot, he says, start thinking, am I a rabbit, not a rabbit, do I want, no, he's just a rabbit. He wants to eat. But the problem is many human beings, they're a bit like rabbits. I mean, okay, I want that carrot or that bottle or that whatever, yeah, I want that. And if Spinoza says, no, you don't want it. What do you mean I don't want it? I know I want it. He says, okay. So for Spinoza to be free is to be conscious of the fact that you don't want to eat as your body wants to eat. No. Then that's when people say, hey, this is not freedom. This is not freedom, doesn't make any sense. Well, that's not freedom because you view freedom differently. But that's the definition of Spinoza gives to freedom. It's very simple. If you for a moment forget what your idea of freedom is, it's very simple. To be free means to be conscious of your determinations. Yes? So simple. But why is it, that doesn't make any sense? Because it doesn't fit our own ideas, right? And that's an example I want to give you in the history of philosophy of what is called to think the unthinkable. Or when Nietzsche says, who is the main, the person that helps, like what is it, thief? No, no. You know, when there's somebody committed a thief, a robbery, and his helper, accomplice. Who is the main accomplice of the? Oh, I'm having heard this morning. The one that kills people. You know,
The accessory.
The one that kills people, and then you have to be hanged. And yeah. Who is the main helper of the executioner? It's the victim. The main accomplice of the executioner is the, oh my God, it's a horrible thing to say. You know, how can you say such a thing? Well, okay, that's Nietzsche. No, if you understand Nietzsche, you have to say, okay, let me go with it, see what he's doing with this, and see how I can give meaning to something that a priori for me is so strange, you know. Now, I'm saying this with philosophers, but that's exactly the same thing when you speak to somebody else, big adult, or when you speak to children. You know, our job, as I see it, we want to philosophize, is not to tell them what is the right way to think, which is, we can do, but that's something else, right? But to think is to accompany and see, and that's a Socratic principle. All right, you say this. Well, let's go. Give me your hand, and let's go see where this is leading. Let's see what strange path we're going to be trying, right? Let's think the unthinkable. And sometimes you lead places, suddenly opens interesting spaces. Sometimes you have the impression you come to a dead end, right? So, but the point is taking the risk of thinking the unthinkable. But for some reasons, there are many things stopping us, you know, from thinking the unthinkable. Because we have ideas about things. We have opinions, right? And Plato talks with two kinds of opinion. We have, he calls vulgar opinions, you know, like what we picked up in the street, on TV, whatever. But then that's what we have, he calls right opinion, educated opinion. These are much tougher. Because what we picked up maybe somewhere on the street, we are not so proud about it. We just have this idea, and opinions, I say, pardon the metaphor, but it's a bit like hair, you know, under the armpit. We all have plenty of it. In fact, some people try to cut them, you know, they want to shave them because there's so many and it doesn't look very nice, you know. But we have naturally plenty of opinions. But right opinions is the one that we're a bit educated. You went to school and you passed the exams, and to pass this exam you have to show you have right opinions. So when you go to school, you're paid because you have right opinions. So of course you tell the children, okay children, listen to me, these are the right opinions, right? But for Plato, these are even more difficult because they're reinforced by society, by the people listening. Hey, he has good opinions, he's wise, he's knowledgeable, right? So, and these are the ones that when we do philosophy, children, for example, will be difficult. And let me give you a concrete example in case you think I'm just doing something very abstract what I'm talking about. Once I was doing a workshop with children, grade 2 or something, with a teacher. And the teacher is doing it, you know, because I do it, and then I try to get the teachers to do it, and I observe and I make comments. And the teacher was, what she done, she liked art, she likes art a lot, so, okay, so I was trying to find something the teacher likes, that I think liking and enjoying is fundamental to doing philosophical activity before anything else. I was a bit traumatized, I say this, I'm watching this, I was traumatized yesterday. I was invited at Melbourne University by people doing doctoral work in ethics. So they're big on ethics. And they asked me, I start philosophy with children, which was 3 years old, you know. So they asked me, okay, now that's very academic, formal, ethical question. What is the interest? What is the pedagogical interest? To do things with a 3-year-old? What is your right to do things with a 3-year-old? And I said, well, look, do you want the real answer or the official answer? So, of course I want the real answer. But the real answer is it's fun. Oh my God, why didn't I say there, you know? So we say, well, if you don't want, I'll give you now the official answer, the one I'm paid for. I can give you pedagogical argument, but the real argument is fun. So anyway, visibly it was shocking. So anyway, this teacher has been fun. So this teacher was fun for her. She likes art. So we do this thing. She puts 2 paintings on the 2 paintings on the wall, and she asks the kids, which one do you prefer? And the kids have to say why they prefer this one, right? Give arguments, and they have to analyze the painting, analyze their thoughts, and then we write on the board different kind of criteria for what we like and what is beautiful, what is not, right? And the kids like, suddenly one of the paintings was sort of very abstract thing, sort of looking like a horse, but not a horse, you know, painted or what, but it's very abstract, you know, vague horse. And so one child says, well, I don't like that one. I say, okay, why you don't like that one? It doesn't look like a horse, you know. And the teacher says, yes, but he says, you know, why is it? She repeats, why you don't, it doesn't look like a horse. And then she said, okay, and she moves on to another child. I said, well, wait a minute, because she was supposed to write on the board the criteria. And I said, why don't you write this on the board with this boy had said? Well, he didn't say, he didn't give an argument. I said, what do you mean he didn't give an argument? He told you this doesn't look like a horse. And she goes something like, well, but art is not about looking like what things are. So what do you mean it's not? And they say, it's much more than that. Well, see, but look, this boy has given you the criteria that was the main criteria of art for at least, let's say, almost 2,000 years. And just because you have another conception of art, where for you art is beyond looking like reality, art is no more copying reality, therefore you refuse the argument. You know? Now, this we do all the time. Now, it's I don't know, my son, visible, can tell me a story, putting in context, but we do this all the time. We have such good ideas because she was full of honesty and good intention. For her, she loves art, and art is very this and very that, and much of this and much of that. So this very simple argument, just because for her it is no more, and it's true in modern, not many people today will tell you that, of course, in art, the criteria is it has to look like a reality, because the artist is creative and blah, 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 and he makes his own world. But this criteria is still a criteria that can be accepted. But, and it was very operative for Da Vinci, that's crucial for Da Vinci, that was a crucial criteria. But for her it was not. And so we all do this, right? You know, with all our goodwill, we want to impose certain, you know, it's not we threaten the child, we threaten the others, but de facto we want to impose a certain vision of the world. Now that comes back to Spinoza. We realize this only at one condition, is that we have to see how much we are determined with certain right opinions, yes, that we have learned, you know, isn't that right? And that's a bit of a job, right? That's a bit of a job. Now, what we do in the classroom, to be open to what is strange and to be able to have this moment of suspension. Of the Germans say, oh, let's see, this very strange thing, could it be, after all, an idea that functions, that works, that makes sense, right? So that's what I mean by thinking the unthinkable, right? But thinking the unthinkable is no recipe, you know? Otherwise it's too bad, because you can be, I saw in the airport, all this, in the English world, you can really this summer, we have that too, but it's very big. These books, you know, like how to, you know, like how to become a millionaire in 3 minutes. You know, it's full of books, right? Yeah, you know, how to. English speaking is very. I don't know if you're a very practical culture, right? You like practical things, yes. So, but the problem is no how-to book, and you know, you can buy. They say, okay, how to think the unthinkable, because it has a lot to do. It's just you know, becoming like it's sort of creating a little bit of people who like Oriental ideas. It's making emptiness in the self, right? Become a bit empty, so you can receive. You know, if you're too full, it's a bit Socratic idea as well. You have to unlearning. And so this activity, for philosophizing, children, adults, it has a lot to do with unlearning, with getting rid of things. But that's easy to say. It sounds very nice. If it sounds nice, man. But it's a very difficult thing to put into practice, right? It's like to say, okay, you have to be healthy, you know, sort of thing. You know, okay, that's very nice, but there's so many things implied that it's very difficult. So the only thing that can be done is to, and that's a bit what I like, is to give an experience of this, right? Is to know the experience of this and live through this experience by creating a formal situation. So now, this being said, now I'm going to give you the second speech. I'll give you the real one. I'll give you the second one, which is the official speech, right? About what it means to do philosophy. And I'll give it to you through two forms. One, which is its competency, so people want to justify in their school or in France with inspectors. Inspectors, why it's good to do philosophy with children. So we have to show they have competencies that are put into work. And they're basically three competencies, and then I'll go on to question of attitudes. Three competencies that we put into work. And these three competencies are to identify, or we can as well call it to deepen. Okay, identify, deepen, and I'll go through what it is again. The second one is to problematize, you can call it to criticize, you know, the second step. And the third, not step, but the other competency. And the third one is to conceptualize, right? So if you really nice sounding things, you know, deepening, problematizing, conceptualizing, God, you know, a really nice thing for the, you know, for the school board, or the inspector, whoever. So what does that mean? This means that the first thing we want to do, what we call identifying or deepening, is when something is being said. What is being said, right? What does it contain, right? And I'll give you an example because I like traveling a lot. I always enjoy a lot to see the peculiarities of a given place, of the non-thinking. So I picked up one here. I've been working 3 days, thank Janet, mini workshop. I picked up a couple of things interesting here, Australia. And even thanks to the discussion, I found even a name for it, thanks to my colleague, Emmanuel. Except I forgot what it's called now. What's the word I used? Remember? When they looked at you and said that was because of you. What's this?
Weasel.
Okay, whistle concept. Whistle concept. Whistle word. Yeah, whistle. Okay, whistle word. Now that's very nice. You have a very nice one. You ask somebody something here, so you have a list, and they answer you. Okay, you ask a question. Sometimes, yes, sometimes, sort of, kind of, and the kids are very nice. They go, yeah, you know, it's very nice. No, you know, and it's a list of things like this, right? So you don't know what's going on here, right? So it's a way of escaping commitment. It's a way of escaping positioning yourself in something, right? And I've, you know, so when you have that, when I have the kids saying sort of, so I sort of say, well, see, I'm not Australian, I don't understand what it means. I'm sort of simple-minded, I understand yes and no, but sort of, I don't know. Can you translate the sort of? Yeah, what does it mean? Yes means no, right? And so now I mean sort of. Well, let me give you an example. I said, ask me if I want to marry you. Ask me if I want to marry you. Okay. So finally, so okay, if you want to marry me, well, sort of. So, you know, if I want, okay, just to show them, you know, to show how these words are, these words are what I understand, I use a lot, right? This kind of expression. And to show how it's a way of not coming to meet the other one. Because Socrates says it's very, and I hope nobody here has qualms about the idea of martial art, but Socrates is very, and he says, take off your shirt and come for the, what do you say, body to body? So it sounds like in English. Body to body, like, you know, the two bodies meet and they sort of fight it out, right? You know? And not just you stay there, I stay there, and we sort of dance around, and we don't know what we're talking about, you know? Socrates doesn't like the sophist way of discussion. What a big speech, I want to make a big speech. I don't agree with you making a big speech, and you don't know what the discussion is about. He likes short things, small things, or really know, you know, what's going on. In fact, yesterday, when we had a workshop with these kids at Jared School yesterday, I want to show them when you have an objection, somebody objects to some other one, you have to have a very short proposition. And then another very short proposition when you know exactly this goes against that. If you can't do this, there's no objection. You have the impression there's an objection, but all you're doing is making a speech about a speech, but no objection, right? So the idea is to tighten it a lot. So when you want to identify, that's the kind of thing you want to do. What do you do? Well, one way to identify is to analyze. Like I was saying yesterday, what does this mean? You say these words, I don't know. To analyze is to mean. Another way is to give arguments, right? Like, why do you say this? Okay, I want to be your friend. Why do you want to be my friend? Well, three possibilities. You want to be my friend because I have a lot of money, right? You want to be my friend because you're bored. You want to be my friend because I'm a nice guy. Now, in the three cases, you want to be my friend, but they have nothing to do one with the other, right? These three things. So, but through the, we deepen through the argument, by knowing why you want to be my friend, then makes a whole difference. Right? But too often we're satisfied with the immediate answer, with the arguments, so the argument is fundamental. So, anyway, so to identify, you need arguments, analyze, and otherwise to synthesize. Right? You have a big speech. Can you, I say, okay, just make one sentence. Plato had this idea of saying that the unity of a speech is its intention, right? You know, why you say this? So you give, he says that's the unity of the speech. The substance of the speech is unity. So when somebody gives you a big thing, say, well, give it to me in one sentence, and I'll know what you're talking about. Yes? And sometimes if I get all the things, what do you do? So to synthesize, is another way. Another way is example. You hear very abstract thing, give me an example. To exemplify is another way to identify it. And of course, explaining is another thing. And there's another thing, a last one, which is very important, is called to identify presuppositions. Yes, when somebody speaks to you, you want to know what the presuppositions are. You know, where do you come from? You know, when you say this, right? So these are different ways to identify what somebody's saying, right? So that's sort of first step. Hegel calls it the A is A, to identify. Say A is A, an apple is an apple. I have to know what it is. Say A is A. Why is this? Because the other step, with the other competency, is to problematize, and he says A is not A, right? Something is not what it is. And in a way, I don't know if this sounds strange to you, but everything is at the same time what it is, and it is what is not. I don't know if that sounds abstract, you know this, but everything is what it is, and is what it is not. The example he gives is the following. He gives the example of the acorn. An acorn is an acorn, of course, logical. A is A. But just live there on the ground, come back in 10 years, and you will see an acorn is not an acorn. An acorn is an oak. You know? Right? So, now, the third step it goes to, how do you explain that? Through becoming. Because something is what it is, but at the same time, just because of becoming, it is something else. Right? You know, I don't know if that speaks to you, right? But something is what it is and what it is not. Among others, there are different reasons why something is what it is and what it is not, but one of the reasons is because everything that exists undergoes transformations, right? And one says, yeah, but that's 10 years later. Yeah, well, I tell you, if 10 years later the acorn is an oak, that means that a split second after you look at the acorn, by the time you finish the word acorn, the acorn is already oaking itself. Okay? Yeah, it's already, because it cannot be an oak 10 years later if it's not starting to be an oak at the minute where it's there. There's not a moment where the acorn, okay, it's an acorn, okay, now starts the okay. No. Okay? Huh? Yes? It's like the principle of a heap. You know, it shows one of the example of epistemological paradox, right? What is a heap? You know, heap of sand? Is there a heap of sand? Yeah. How many grains of sand do you need to have a heap of sand, right? Try that one, you know? Well, anybody wants to take a guess? Just try it, you know? And you find it's impossible. It's impossible. Yes? You want to say, well, it's obvious. 2 is not a heap. Okay, we'll just keep going. Tell me when it starts to be a heap, right? And it's going to be between 273 and 274. That's becoming a heap, right? It doesn't work, right? This is a very interesting paradox. So it's a bit the same thing with the acorn. The acorn, you cannot tell when it's starting to, it's oaking itself. Now, I'm going to tell you a terrible thing, people who have taboos, but that's why in the East, Buddhist tradition, they say you're starting to die the day you're born. Yes? Okay? Everybody's okay? Okay, yes. I hope it's bad news, right? But you start dying. I'm being careful, you know, because Australia is far from France, in case you don't have to stick here till Monday, so I'm trying to be nice. So, my tickets for Tuesday. So, yeah, so you start dying the day you're born. Yes, so in that sort of way, you're dead when you're, so, and of course, when you see your charming little baby, you know, that's not what you want to think about, you know. Now, I'm very abstract, but I'm telling you, next time you see your child, or if your child, or so, yeah, try to see this, you're going to feel strange, you know. You say, oh my God, I must be depressed, you know, let's have a drink, you know. It's nuts, you know. And if you do it in society, you know, next time a friend comes, hey, this is my baby. Oh yes, oh God, he's starting dying over it. What are you doing to my baby? You want to traumatize him? You're not supposed to do stuff like that, you know. And in fact, about the death thing, there's a funny thing. I don't hear, but we get a lot from France or other places. And children, you know, they want to discuss death, you know. I don't know what to tell them. I said, that's terrible. The kids is rather natural to discuss death, but us, maybe because we're closer to this thing over there. So we don't want, right? But if you don't tell them, just see what's going to happen. Anyway. So that's to identify, to problematize is to start seeing that everything is what it is not, right? And later we'll start more workshop, finish speeching, you know, you'll see what it means. And because, and now, let me give you a general proposition about problematization. And you tell me if that shocks you. The basic postulate of the idea of problematization in philosophy is that there is not one single proposition that cannot be refuted or problematized, including the one I'm making now. Right? There's not one single proposition. And I can tell what I want. In French we say, put the dot on the I. You want to make sure that it's clear. Say this too?
Yeah, me too.
Put the dot in the I. I said even the fact 2 + 2 = 4 can be problematized. Oh my God, then what are we going to teach the children? If even this is not reliable, then what am I going to do as a teacher, right? I cannot teach anything anymore. You know, that's the case, right? That's because we want certitudes. We don't accept that 2 + 2 is a conjecture, you know, and not a hypothesis. It's a functioning hypothesis and not a certitude. And that's then just for fun. I will throw anything like this because mathematics is so often, for teachers, but as well for other people, the paradigm of certitudes. Let me throw in a little thing for you, which is the idea, a little operation. Can you write it on the board since you're not on the board? You're going to write the following thing, okay? You're going to write 18, yes, plus 8, no, 18 plus 9. 18 plus 9, you know? You know what it's going to add up to? How do you know? That's very interesting. You know what it's going to add up to?
27.
Well, I have bad news for you.
18.
Yeah?
If it's in numerology, 8 and 1 is 9, and 9 and 9 is 18.
make one is
So what's the solution here?
I haven't come up with a solution, I'm just trying to problematize you.
Yeah, but that's so.
Nine.
No, but go all the way. What does it give in your problematization? What does that give?
I'm just saying in numerology.
Okay, put equal.
8 plus
Equal.
1 would be 9, so 9 plus 9 would be 18.
And then one
And
is
8 plus
No,
1 would be
give us the
9.
total result.
9.
9. Put 9 there. Okay? Yes. Okay. Now, put another one under it. Do it again. 18 plus 9.
I'm just trying to add the interest.
Okay. All right. That's fine.
She's telling me I'm
Don't you don't. I tell you, there's a rule in this kind of thing. Never justify yourself.
Oh, well,
You
I'm
just
trying
start-
to.
And there you go. And there you go again. How many times you want? No, wait. Hold on. You see what's happening? The chaos provoked by the attempted justification. Okay? And that's
I'm
fundamental.
trying to be naughty like you see. I'm trying to be naughty today.
Wait, hold on. Okay, and we now, I propose to you little rules. Anyone wants to speak, okay, first 2 rules I propose to you. First one speaks for everybody or he speaks for nobody. Okay? Like football, only one ball. You don't come with your ball on the side of the football, okay? Okay, you speak for everyone and nobody. Second thing, if one wants to speak, he raises his hand for a very interesting thing, he's obliged to delay in time and not just react. The justification often goes, we want to react, yeah? So that obliges to say. So raising the hand, not for politeness, but just the fact we have to do this. During that, we breathe, time, and we delay. Yeah? Like that? Yes. And this frees us from justification. Justification is one of the biggest parasites for thinking and for real time. Not justification. Everyone has a right to his own foolishness. Okay? Alright, so. Second proposition, 18 plus 9 equal 3. Okay? Any other proposition for 18 plus 9?
27.
Oh, Lord. We want to problematize, my friend. We don't want the right opinion. Okay, so, but let's examine the first one. Okay, what is your name? Okay, but don't forget one thing. You see? Hey, you see what's happening? When you speak for everyone or no one, right? Raise it. You see how these rules are hard to you teach?
Yes.
Whistle concept, right? What about sort of? Do you like sort of? Well, how about yeah?
If you have this
No.
yeah,
You like it? What's that?
yeah,
Yeah. Oh yes, I got it. Oh, I thought it was okay. I didn't know it was a code.
it's a thing.
I heard it. But I thought it was due to particular children. Okay, no. Okay. So you teach them that, yeah? Yes. You see what you have done. What you have done. Now, you see this in children, right? Now, who teaches them to do this? That's easy. Yes, her. Okay. Okay. Huh? But I like the idea. That's another where I lose friends who say when teachers start complaining about the children, I say, but whose children are they? Who has taught them all this stuff? Where do you think they get that from? You know, that's terrible. As parents, as teachers, the children, they are our own caricature. We should say thank you for it because they show us who we are. But we say, oh, they. No, not they. You know, just when you look at the child, see yourself. You like that? Okay, thank you. So anyway, but that's it. When you see how funny it is, then you have to learn to find it funny, you know, because otherwise, so it's a terrible idea. Then people say, but then should I feel guilty about everything? You say, well, that's your problem. If you want to put it as a concept of guilt, okay, that's choice. Yes.
Yeah.
Did you have the ball there?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
No, I'm just going to do it.
So, okay, what is your name? What is your name?
Julie.
Julie, just hold on 1 minute. I want Julie to explain, and you will listen. Now, what we're going to do. She will explain how 18 plus 9 equals 9, okay? She will explain that. You will listen to her for the following task. You will decide if her rationale, right, if it makes sense or not. Because it's not, problematization doesn't mean everything goes. So because then the child says, okay, 18 plus 9 equals 33, and that's because I think it's like that, right? That would be meaningless. Not problematization, it's just all opinions are good. So she will give a rationale, we listen to her, then I will ask all of you to judge, to make a judgment, and say, that's acceptable, or that is not acceptable, okay? Are we good? Okay, so demonstration, maestra.
In numerology, if you add the 8 and the 1, it gives 9. So then you've got...
No, you don't do anything, you just... listen, all your is an ear now. You're not a pen, you're not a human being, you're a huge ear, okay? Let's go, yes.
Okay, so in numerology, if I add the 8 and the 1, it gives 9, which gives me 9 plus 9, which gives me 18. If I then add the 8 and the 1, I come back to 9. And in numerology, 9 has a significance.
All right. Have you finished your demonstration? Okay. So now, all of you scan all this, that's it for your brain, and you will determine. Now, of course, there's two obstacles to this. The first one says, well, she's my friend, she's a nice lady, and she has an opinion, and why not? That's fine, huh? The other say, well, this is not the official thing that I learned in school, and I'm not going to teach that to the kids. Right? These are two extremes, right? So we have to try the path in the middle of saying, does this make sense? Not make sense? Does it sound legitimate? Does it not sound legitimate? Right? And then maybe we'll have some arguments. So, but let's first make a test. Who, like this, off the bat, think we can accept this as a demonstration? Raise your hand. Okay. Who thinks not? Raise your hand. Okay. Keep your hand up. The ones who think not, just keep your hand. I'll show you a little trick, very useful to process. You will ask somebody with the hand up that says, why don't you accept my demonstration? Anybody?
Okay, can't see your name from there.
Neural.
But wait, did she ask you anything?
Not yet.
Did you bring your mummy along? That's not, I'm formulating a bit, I like it with children, right? All the time we have to be clear on what the demand is, what the problem is. So we never answer something unless we're asked, right? Okay, so just you have to say, what do you want from her?
Okay, I'll just ask you a bit. So, Noelle, what is the problem with my thinking?
What does she want to know?
What is the problem? She wants to know from me what I consider the problem with her thinking is.
We're good? Okay, that's fundamental. We have to make sure we speak about the same thing, okay? So, now initially when in class I formalize, after people get used to it, they're more reliable. But initially you'll see, we hear strange discussions, so that's why I make sure this, okay. Let's go.
I don't have enough information to make a judgment about your thinking because you told me what numerology would say, not what you thought.
Okay. Have you heard what you have just said?
I believe I have.
It's not a church here, we don't believe anything, okay? That's a different place, right? Okay, have you ever heard what you've said? Okay. Can you summarize, only with like 5 words maximum, what your argument is?
That it is not Julie's thinking.
Can you repeat that? Can you repeat what you just said?
That it is not Julie's thinking.
Do you understand what she's saying now?
I do.
You do.
Can I?
What? No.
Why? No?
Are you in a rush? Somebody waiting for you outside?
Yeah, actually.
What's the name? Okay. Okay. We need interstice, space for thinking. Who has a strange impression of what went on between the initial speech and reformulation? Who has a strange impression? Raise your hand. No one? We think everything is fine here. Raise your hand. See, Norel says something. So I said, Norel, to make sure, just synthesize it. So I know what you're saying, right? And she says something. Now, I would say this is a classroom, but since we're colleagues, I'm going to show you. I have a problem. My head exploded. Because I don't see how the second thing is a reformulation of the first. Now, I don't know if you have the same problem, maybe not, maybe it's my problem, but who sees that the second proposition synthesizes the first? Raise your hand. Who think that's not the case? Raise your hand. And who has no clue? Raise your hand. Alright, you see? Now, that's our job. I tell you, more important than if we agree or not with her, that's almost secondary. The important thing is, what is she doing, right? I was not clear on the first thing, or I want to make conscious, so I ask her to reformulate, synthesize. And she synthesizes it. What's going on here, you know? Let's start again. Repeat your initial thing. Why you think, why you don't accept her demonstration? Say it again.
I don't accept Julie's explanation because she didn't give me an explanation that was based on her thinking. She gave me an explanation based on numerology, something external to her own thinking.
Okay. What's happening?
She said we.
Are you cracking?
Wasn't me.
This is delicate stuff, you know, this is delicate surgery. This is brain surgery. What's happening? You have a headache already?
She's excited.
You want aspirin or something?
Get some water.
Okay. Okay? So, now, let's, no, Lil, what's happening? Want to go to the toilet or something?
No.
No.
May I comment?
No, no, don't.
I may not.
Oh my God, that's the last thing to do.
Okay.
Comments, never. No comment, no comment. We want to weigh what's going on here. Okay, I would like to know, we ought to be sure we're talking. Who could reformulate what the argument is of Norel? Who gets it and is ready to reformulate it to make sure we all get it? Who is able to do this? Raise your hand. And keep your hand up for 1 minute. I'll show you why. 2 people, 3, 4, 5. No puppets. And you raise, you don't. You don't go, okay, you're ready. You raise or not? Oh, you're ready. No. Okay, you raise. Yeah? No, keep it up. I'll show you why. Okay? Okay. But see, why? Because as a teacher, I want to know who gets it and knows he gets it, he can reformulate. Right? There's only 5 people that think can do this, right? So keep your hand up. Yeah? Choose one person with the hand up, says, reformulate my thinking, please, whatever. Reformulate what I said.
Kerry, reformulate my thinking. Okay.
I believe Norel.
No, you don't believe anything, this is not a church. I found another funny word here, like believing. Here, you think. You don't believe anything. You think.
If I understand correctly, Norel, I think that you're actually suggesting that Julie,
Where's your
I'm not
mom?
thinking well today. Julie's comment about numerology was outside of what she believed because it was based upon the fact or the theory of numerology rather than an opinion of hers.
Does she get your point or no?
Yes.
Now, you're going to do the following thing. You're going to do the following thing. All the extra words you added, maybe you think, you believe, blah, blah, blah. Which frankly, I don't know about you, but us, it just creates, we have a hard time. You see only 5 million. You're going to get rid of them. You're going to do Chinese art. You like Chinese art?
Yes.
Yes, Chinese art, there's a lot of white.
Yes.
And only a few strokes. This idea of this Chinese artist, all his life he did the same painting. But at the end of his life, he could do it in 3 strokes. So try to do this with 10 words maximum. What is she telling us?
Norel's telling us.
Wait, already see.
Okay,
Norel
no,
is
okay.
telling us. You see, no, but you see all this? You like that? Get rid of all this stuff. We
Okay.
know that's what you do. We just want to know what is she saying. Summary. Yeah.
Okay. Julie's thinking is based upon a theory and not her own opinion.
Okay. Is that what you say?
Yes.
Okay. Now, the fact that her speech is based on a theory and not her opinion, is that a reason to reject a demonstration, yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. Who agrees with that? Raise your hand. Who disagrees with that? Raise your hand. All right, you got a winner here. Yes? Are you surprised that nobody accepts your theory and the majority rejects it? Are you surprised at that?
I am surprised.
Yes. Now, do you know why?
No.
No. All right. You heard of relativity theory?
Yes.
Suppose someone teaches in relativity theory. Is it because he has learned it or because it's his own opinion? You like that one? I like the mouth you're making.
I don't want the pens to come out of it.
Thank you. Okay, but that's to work on oneself. Of course. You see, first of all, do you see the problem I'm proposing to you? Do you see it?
I do.
All right. Do you enjoy it?
Don't know about it.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah, or, I'm sorry. I will change the word. You don't like it. Do you enjoy that problem?
Yes.
Yes. Is that a problem that's new for you, or you already knew that problem?
I already knew that.
You already knew it. Nothing new.
No.
No. Okay, so now tell us, somebody teaching relativity theory, is he teaching it because he learned it, or because that's his opinion? What do you say? You have an emergency?
No, I've got an answer.
We have an answer. You want to answer that?
Yeah, I'd like to answer that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I won't go to the movies with you, you know?
Yeah.
The actors, do you love me? Oh, I'll answer. No, there's a suspense here. Yes. You know this. Have you seen those parents that you ask a question to the child and the parent wants to answer for them?
Yes.
You've seen this.
Oh, am I going to be like that anyway?
Thank you. All right. Okay, so enjoy the suspense. You see, what's fascinating now is what's going on in the eyes of Narelle. You know, see this drama unfolding. You know, there. Did you see it?
Yeah.
Are you enjoying it?
Yeah.
Why do you want to destroy it?
I want to make her feel better.
Now we know the problem. You want her to feel better. Now, when the mother speaks for the child, does she want the child to feel better and having not being stressed by a terrible question?
Absolutely.
Thank you. Okay? But that's what I'll show you. How the non-thinking starts. Now, why does a non-thinking start? That's a classical one. Because thinking doesn't make us feel at ease. When we think, we feel stupid. When I think, it's oh my God, I feel stupid. When I know I don't feel stupid, why not? When I think I feel stupid, you have a problem. So I'm trying to say we should enjoy this stupidity rather than trying to feel better. You like that?
Yeah, I do.
You enjoy feeling stupid now?
Yes.
Okay, good. Congratulations. Hallelujah.
But I have to learn to feel stupid. That's the thing, because I love
You're not used to it.
No.
No, okay, you feel smart.
Yeah.
Okay, no problem. Okay, so, do you know why nobody supported your thesis, but a majority went against it? Do you know why? Or you have no clue?
Are you requiring a yes/no answer from me on that?
Do politicians do that? You ask them the questions?
Yes.
Alright. It's tempting,
Yes.
right? Alright. Do you have an explanation for this situation?
Yes.
Okay, give it.
That the word opinion clouds thinking.
In your scheme, what did you oppose opinion to?
I oppose the use of the word opinion as an alternative to the theory of numerology.
No, but in general, not specifically. What do you oppose opinion to? In your thesis, opinion is opposed to, and then don't make a sentence. Just what is the word, a couple of words you oppose opinion to in your system? Do you remember or no? Okay. You do remember or no?
No.
No, okay. So you don't remember your own concept, right?
True.
Alright, now that's important to know it. And indeed, because thinking is hard, even our own concept disappears suddenly. Who can remind Narelle what is the concept she opposed to opinion? Who can remind her that? Raise your hand, the one who knows. And only one, two only have listened to Narelle. Three. Raise your hand if you know and keep it up. So we know, Narelle has to know who has listened to her. No, just don't make comments. Just raise your hand if you know. 1, 2, 2, no more. 2, no more. You see Narelle? And imagine you spend a whole day in the class, speaking the whole day. There you only said a few sentences. Adults, only 2 people know what your concept is. Do you still want to keep teaching? It's a joke. It's a joke. Okay, so raise your hands when you have heard the concept again. Sorry, raise your hand if you have heard, and ask one of them, what is the concept I oppose to opinion?
What is the concept that I oppose to opinion?
Theory?
Is it true that you oppose opinion to theory?
Yes.
Yes. And for you, that functions as an opposition. Opinion on one side, theory on the other side. Yes?
Yes.
All right. Now let me ask you, very classical, look at the form of the question. Don't worry so much about the content. Look at the form of the question. Narelle opposes opinion and theory. So I pull off a little trick. It's like the prestidigitator. You know this? Prestidigitator, yes? You say, Narelle, can a theory be an opinion?
Yes.
Do you see what happened to your thesis?
Yes.
What happened to it?
It dissolved momentarily.
Thank you. What is the adverb you have put in the back there? Momentarily, but how do you know it is momentarily and not eternally? How do you know this?
I don't know that, and I
Then
claim to
if you don't know, why do you add momentarily? Do you know?
Yes, because I would like to keep.
Thank you. Stop that. Stop. No, stop that. Repeat the first 3 words. Repeat the first 3 words.
Because
No, the 3 others, yeah.
I would like.
Thank you. Now, what kind of argument is this? I would like.
Yes.
Now, do the children do this? Use I would like as an argument.
Yes.
Yes. And who teaches them to do this? You want to answer that one. Okay? But I'm going to show you what happened. Yes. But I add momentarily because I would like. Well, that's not any kind of justification. Just say I would like. Okay? But in reality, and that's interesting, what is momentarily doing here? What is its function here? Who can say? And adverbs, by the way, I don't know how much here, right? But adverbs are wonderful. Tell them why adverbs are wonderful, because adverbs, they're always innocuous. They're always like secondary. It's not the center, it's not the verb, it's not the subject, it's not the object, so it's not secondary. But adverbs play a huge role, you know, for different, let's see with this one. What is, in her speech when she said, it dissolved, momentarily. What is the function of momentarily here? Yes, and keep your hand up if you know. And now you ask someone, raising their hand, someone didn't speak yet, say, what is the function of momentarily here?
Adverb.
I think.
Did she ask you anything?
What is the function?
No, hold on. Did she ask you anything?
No, she didn't,
So why do you want to answer?
because I'm anticipating.
Okay, then main thing is to know it, alright? You're in a rush, right? You belong to the same club. Same person waiting outside? So go ahead, why?
What is the function of momentarily here?
I think the function momentarily is to position yourself as a fighter.
Yes.
You like that?
Yes.
Well, I tell you, I'll give you a rule of the thumb. If you like it, it's a bad explanation.
Yes.
You like that? Who has another explanation? Ask somebody else, what is your explanation for momentarily?
Karen, what is your explanation for momentarily?
You want a foot in both camps.
Do you like that one? That's a good one. Because in general, source where I don't know if you find it, but in generally, the explanation bothering us, it's a right. Because precisely I want you also show the non-thinking. And to have a foot in both camps is a very classical way of non-thinking. I don't want to commit myself. And thinking has a lot to do with commitment. right? But anyway, it's worth what it's worth. Who has a different, what? What did you tell her?
I said it could have just been very postmodern.
What, okay.
You could have been just very postmodern.
Postmodern. Did you like that one?
I really like it.
No, it's not good. You know, we want the one that sound like, oh yeah, oh, I'm postmodern. I like that. I'm momentarily the postmodern move. Hey, I'm so smart. Okay. Huh? All right. Who has a different explanation? No way. Okay. So, but just fine. So watch carefully. That's why be careful. Every word counts. You know. And that's what I try to teach in this business. Words are costly, right? Words are expensive. Because words are very important. You know. Anyway, so. Who else wants to try? Oh yes, so therefore you dissolve, so therefore the accusation drops for now. Who else wants to denounce the demonstration of Julie? Anybody else? Raise your hand.
I don't want to denounce, but
Oh, well, hold on. Hold on, that's nice. Let me ask you a very personal question. Do you like the word denouncing? Thank you. Thank you. Huh? And why? You know, why? I'll give you a little Greek thing, you know, just to give some really fashionable cultural thing. Do you know the word category? Yes? The word category comes from Greek kategorai. And kategorai in Greek means to accuse. Do you like accusations? No. You don't like categories, yes? We were discussing before we came in about the question of labels. You know, why is it we don't like labels? You know, oh, I don't like labels, and especially me, I don't want to be labeled. It's an accusation, you know. But to think, we need this. And to think, critical thinking, problematization, is nothing else but denouncing. Denouncing how something which appears true is false. You want to tell there's something wrong in her speech, right?
I want to question something that she
Oh,
said.
wait a minute. Is there something wrong in her speech, yes or no?
To me,
To me. There's no to me here. Here there's spirits floating in the air. You want to have access to universal reason. You like the universal reason? You like that? Or no?
yes.
Yes. Is there a to me in the universal reason? No. Do you like that? So you're lucky. What is
Seal.
You can de-seal yourself. You don't exist anymore. Just universal reason. Yes? So to me no more. And universal reason. Does she have anything against the word denouncing?
No.
No, so that's liberating, right? You like that? And you go back out and get back to your Celia. No more Celia, okay? So, I was asking who sees a problem in her demonstration. Do you see a problem in her demonstration? Yes? Yes, no?
Yes.
So you're ready to denounce?
Yes.
Good. Let's hear denunciation. Let's go.
There is no plus sign between the 1 and the 8, so I wouldn't.
There's no what, sorry?
There's no addition sign between the 1 and the 8.
Okay.
And I wanted to know.
No, you don't want anything. See, now, when you denounce, you're in the position of the accuser. The accuser, he has everything to accuse. He doesn't want to know anything else right now. Just finish your demonstration. Unless it was finished already. So, say it again, but clear with nothing else, just go and do your demonstration. What's wrong here?
There's no addition sign between the 1 and the 8, so
Yes.
I don't know why you did that.
She did what?
She separated the 1 and the 8 and she added them.
Alright, so, correctly, she's separating the 1 and the 8. When there's no sign in between, separating it. That's your argument?
That's it.
Alright. Do you understand her argument?
I do.
Is that a good argument? Or it's a bad argument?
I think it is a good argument. That
Tell her, she'll be happy.
it's not something that I would hear to, but I
No, well,
understand.
Sit down. I want exactly. And I want to thank you. I want to thank you. This is exactly. Yeah, it's a little trap I was planting for you. Yes.
And I fell in it on purpose.
I have at least one friend here that I love. Yeah. Because of course, and that's the typical thing. What's happening? Celia, she's ruthless. She's denouncing you publicly, right? No, and what am I doing? I'm acting really vicious, I'm saying, oh, is that a good argument? Oh, yes, this is a very good argument. Well, tell us a good argument. Well, that's burning her mouth to say this. She's denouncing you, you know? But that's what I'm asking precisely, to appreciate, hey, good move, my friend Celia.
Which is what I was doing. It is a good argument.
Yes, but what did you say when I asked you if it's a good argument?
But
You start, look where your hand is. Look where your hand is, exactly. Thank you.
I'm wrong if I'm saying it's a good
No, no,
argument.
Tell you what, you know the diaphragm? You know, you have this thing called a diaphragm here. It has to go down. Easy, everything's fine. She's your best friend, you know this?
No, I don't know.
You have to appreciate, you know, there was, you know, I work sometimes with kids with a lot of difficulty, you know. We have special classes in France where kids were, they're the age of high school, but actually in terms of level, they're elementary school levels. We have special schools, you know, we have these special classes for these kids, right? So I got this guy, of course, they fight all the time. They cannot, one starts speaking of, like this. I say, well, why do you react? Why don't you go, so if you really want to fight back the other one, take time to think. So you go something like, aha, very interesting, you know, and something. And the teacher went back to month later and said, all month long, they didn't stop doing this. Aha, very interesting. So I'm trying to like dramatize a little bit to avoid this thing. Say, okay. Even I'm asking you to be sincere, but just okay, create some distance. Oh, interesting argument. Yes. And then later you can come back, say this, but it's costly. We're not used to that. We feel threatened, you know, by somebody disagreeing with us, and especially I insisted heavily to say denounce her, you know, on purpose, right? To see how much we're ready to react when our job here, like in the martial arts, say, okay, give me a good fight. I don't want just, you know, just lowly, give me a good argument, you know, give me think. And that's the conversion, you know. But of course, you know, in life, in the couple, with the children, at job, we have to defend something, yes? So we, you know, you're no more, yeah. We enjoy good, you know, a good yeah, give me a good, okay, so, do you think, now I'm not asking you to be polite there, do you think it's a good argument? And we'll separate three things, what shall I say? One is hearing, understanding, agree. But often we go right here, right away. We don't know if you heard it, we don't know if you understand it, right away we react with the heart, with the feelings, right? First, did you hear it? And ask them to repeat it. Second, did you understand it? Explain it. And only thirdly, do you agree with it? So, I'm going to ask you first, did you hear our argument?
Yeah, and I said it was a good argument.
Just by hearing, you know this?
Well,
just by hearing, can you tell it's a good argument?
by hearing what she said about the process, is that what you mean?
Why do you ask me a question?
Because I'm getting really confused.
Okay, you know why you get confused? I tell you what, because you think too much.
I'm trying
To
to
think?
understand what
Thank
you're
you.
asking.
Repeat the beginning of a sentence. What is it? I am
Trying.
Ooh, terrible. Stop trying anything, okay? Trying is nothing worse than a pupil trying. Does that make sense to you or it sounds crazy?
We're not communicating, I don't think. I'm trying to understand what you're saying.
Why don't you stop communicating then? That makes
I think it's a good idea.
okay. Now, trying, communicate, yeah, all these things, too much, okay? Listen, when you hear, does that allow you to say it's a good argument by hearing?
No.
She's terrible. Can somebody watch her? I mean, she's behind me. Can you watch her? Just give her something. By hearing, can you tell it's a good argument?
No.
No, why not?
Because I need to think about it.
Thank you. And is thinking the same place as hearing?
No.
Where is the thinking? Where is the hearing? All right. Now, do you see the advantage of children to distinguish those places and their function? Yes? No? But for this, you have to distinguish, right? All right? But of course, there's something very artificial to what I'm doing because all these things, we're so smart, we'll do all these things at once, and that's a problem. Suddenly, deconstruction, decomposition of the different functions. Okay. So first of all, did you hear what she had said?
Yes.
Second, did you understand it?
Yes.
Does it make sense?
Yes.
Do you estimate that still in the understanding, that's a valid argument?
Yes.
Yes. And now you can speak to your heart. Do you agree with it or not?
agree.
No. You see what you started? Repeat those first 3 words. Stop the letter, do it. I want to see if she listens to it. Repeat the first 3 words.
I agree.
No. Repeat the first 3 words.
I would agree.
Stop. What's the verbal form you just used? I would agree. What's the verbal form? You don't know. You answer my question or no?
I'm too scared to answer.
You're too what? You're too what?
I'm trying to think here.
That's a problem. Stop trying. Stop. See, yes. Okay. Does it make sense to you why I criticize this trying business or no?
No, I understand what you're saying. Yes.
Why do you think I'm criticizing this trying business?
Because I should just think.
Yeah. It speaks to you?
Yes.
Do you see this in kids? You say stop
Yes.
trying. You've seen this?
Yes.
Okay, huh? It's all this extra effort. It's like, oh, less noise for nothing, okay? So, question, I would agree. What's the verbal form here? Can you identify it or not? Okay, who can help her? What's the verbal form in I would agree? Who can say it? Raise your hand, ask one of them. What's the verbal form? Ask them.
Elizabeth, what's the verbal form?
The conditional.
All right. Do you know there was a conditional I would agree? Yes, no?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm asking you, am I asking you for a conditional?
No,
I'm asking you for what?
what I think.
Conditional is a concept. If I want that concept, I want another concept. You have to use comparable thing. If I don't want a conditional, what do I want?
An opinion.
Do you oppose conditional opinion, or these are not the same kind of words? Is conditional a verbal form?
No. Is,
Who can help her to say, if it's not a conditional I'm asking for, what I'm asking for? Who can say? Raise your hand. Will you raise your hand if you know? Anybody knows? Keep your hand up. Ask one of them, what does Oscar want?
Karen. What does Oscar want?
Oh, that was nice. Do it again.
A definite.
Definite.
A definite.
But definite, is that a verbal form? Okay. So see, by the way, I'm harassing you here a little bit with this, but rigor means we always, do you learn this here? You should always compare the comparable. You tell, never compare. If I say, this table here is rectangular, this one is yellow. Does that make sense, this comparison? Yes, it makes sense to you. For whom does it make sense here? For whom it doesn't make sense? Raise your hand. Ask one of them, why does it make sense to somebody? Keep your hand up the ones who doesn't make sense. He's cheating. Ask one of them.
Jill, why does it make sense? Because you're comparing 2 different things.
You agree with her?
Yes, I agree with it.
Well, how come you accepted it then?
Because I didn't understand the question.
Okay? But we do that all the time. That's why we don't even notice. Of course, you cannot compare. Just because I spoke about 2 tables, it's not sufficient. Can you say the 2 concepts I use in one case and in the other case? What am I talking about in one case and what about in the other case? Can you?
In one case you were comparing just the structure of the table,
The structure, and in the other case?
the appearance.
But is structure appearance or no?
Yeah, it is. Okay.
Colour.
God, I'm not going to send my children here, huh? I'm teaching someone to So, let's come back.
Okay.
When I say it's rectangular, what are we talking about?
Structure.
The structure. And when I say it's yellow, what am I talking about? Terrible, huh?
Yeah.
What is yellow? Do you know what yellow is?
Yellow can be subjective because...
Who brought us an intellectual here? And you said something beautiful. I don't know. It's still like, see, I told you that non-thinking is the most fascinating. How much you find it funny? I'm happy you find it funny. Repeat the first 3 words.
I can't remember, but it's...
Okay. Who has heard? This is beautiful. Who has heard her first 3 words? Who has heard them? Yeah.
Color can be.
Okay. Can be.
Can be.
That's fundamental. Can be is not of the essence of things. Can an apple be red? Can it be green?
Yes.
Can it be yellow?
Yes.
Therefore, does yellow, red, or green pertain to the essence of an apple?
No.
No. Can be means you're not in the essence. Aristotle tells you you have to distinguish the essential and the accidental. Make sense? Can be is the accidental. The car can be red. But therefore, if it can be red, it can be green. Therefore, it does not pertain to the essence of the car. What is of the essence is the is. So I wasn't asking you what yellow can be. If it can be subjective, or it can be whatever, yeah? And that's cheating. Yeah? I'm asking you what is yellow. Do you know what yellow is or no?
A colour.
Oh my God, that was difficult, huh? All right? Now, and that's so funny, right? We do strange things. But what's interesting here, independently of that, is if you like problems, you say, how you go to the can be. Because see, more important than color, not color yellow, which frankly is totally uninteresting, is what's interesting is, Jill, how you opted for the can be, which is a typical escaping thing, not to go to the essence, but to go away and say, oh, let's talk about, subjective things about what it can be, you see? And not go to the heart of things, yeah? You like that?
Yeah.
That was fun?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So, anyway, form, structure, and color. Different subject, right? You agree it's different subject? What? Huh? Didn't notice it.
I didn't think you were asking me that.
Oh, you thought I was asking you about where's Canberra, right? No problem.
No, I was asking you. Yeah, whether I understood the difference between you describing it as a rectangle or as yellow.
Trying to make me confused, huh? Okay, no problem. Okay. So, anyway, yes, so the idea, always compare the comparable, right? So, one case, we produce a conditional, ask what the verbal form is. And our friend identified conditional. So, if we want to oppose a conditional, we have to oppose it to something similar. And we're asking for a verbal form. Now, opinion is not a verbal form. What's the word you used to oppose to conditional? Remember?
Definite.
Definite? Is definite a verbal form?
No.
No. Huh? So that's what we have to be very acute to learn. What? You have a problem?
No.
You okay?
It's not the imperative.
Are you thinking too much? See? Oh, and somebody else wants to help. Were you Alright, so the idea, and that's very important to one of the thing to watch when the kids discuss, to make sure they speak about the same thing to avoid the form color thing, right? So when if the first thing is a verbal form, if the first concept is a verbal form, the other concept we oppose to it has to be as well a verbal form. We cannot oppose a verb and an adjective, right? We cannot oppose it. Now, we have to oppose what can be opposed, like comparative, comparable, okay? What is the verbal form if it's not conditional that I was asking for?
The condition.
You want to oppose the conditional to the condition. And the condition, of course, is a verbal form. See the problem? Difficult, no? You like that difficulty?
Yes.
Yeah, enjoy it? Alright. See, if you start discovering, like when you go to gymnastics, that you have muscles you don't use, and this is because you start hurting, then you're doing the gymnastics. You know, especially for the gymnastics, I'm like, oh my God, I didn't know I had muscles here. Why? Because, okay? And that's a bit our job, right? Now, of course, I'm, trying to put it so you can feel this. My job is to make you feel those muscles, right? But it's showing you how difficult it is to be a bit strict. Okay. And I'll tell you, there's one interesting, I don't know what here the relation to grammar is. Grammar. But grammar often is thought as a very formal, dead thing, right? And I'm trying to make grammar alive here, make it how it's useful for thinking. Grammar is very funny, and here as a thinking tool. So, we're in grammar. Who knows what other form there is, which I was asking, verbal form, which is not conditional, which I was asking for if it's not a conditional? Who can tell? Raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, what's the form?
Declarative.
Declarative. Now, I have a problem in English grammar because sometimes the words are not always the same. When you have present, future, is that part of declarative or no?
No.
No. What do you call this?
I call declarative the making of a statement, and I will use the adjective.
A declarative.
Statement.
Would you say declarative is a verbal form or no?
Yes.
You would? Okay, let me just check with you because I don't know. Who agrees that declarative is a verbal form? Raise your hand. Who think that's not the case? Raise your hand. And who has no clue? Raise your hand. Alright, so we're going to have a hard time with that. There's the general principle I use is we have to speak to the others. If the others doesn't speak to them, we'll consider you're part of the elite. And the elite is too smart for us. Okay? So we won't do it. Why not? Einstein had the same problem. So it's okay. No, way true, but that's the way, that's to avoid the teacher who's okay, that's good, that's bad. It's a group process. So the group first has to understand, the second has to accept the proposition. So, I don't know, how do you call this in English? It's conditional as a form. When you have when you have present, past perfect, future, what do you call this general category, this mood? What do you call it? No, the tense is one of the tenses, is future is a tense, right? But the category, the mood, you call that the mood? Yeah? The mood that contains present, future, now what do you call it? I tell you what it's called in French, in English you tell me that's used, that word, indicative. Well, how come nobody?
Because I couldn't remember.
You could not remember. Now, I tell you why, so I'm not a grammar inspector trying to see, but I want to show you, you see, to knock on the door and say, that's too bad, grammar friend. Because listen to indicative, what it says indicative. Who can identify what contains the word indicative? What is it?
DIC means said.
With?
Said.
No, but indicative in English?
Indicate.
It indicates, right? That's what there is. It indicates, it points the finger. Conditional, it means that there's a condition. So indicative, there's a commitment. Conditional, well, maybe, it could be, right? And that's the, I want the children to feel that. That is just not indicative, okay, I have to learn indicative. It's so useful that nobody remembered it, yeah? You see that's how the grammar, but suddenly that there's structure in the language, and that structure allows us to think. So, I was asking for indicative, I was asking my friend to commit, and she goes with the conditional, right? So that's, you know, right? Non-committal, again, there, and thinking is to commit ourselves. So, but I propose to you that time is a little bit flying. Let me just go quickly. Does anybody know why I put 18 plus 9 equals 3? What can be the rationale behind it? And just I'll give you one little funny hint. You do that operation every day. All of you. In one form or another. Do you have an explanation or no?
I have one explanation. I
Go
don't know
ahead.
whether it's that one.
Stop that. No, this is a funny. Repeat what you just said.
I have one explanation,
Yeah.
but I don't know whether it's that one.
Why do you add that second part?
Because now you've sort of intimidated me again.
Okay, it's Oscar's fault. Yeah. Hey, no problem. Yes, you know, they already, you see they do this. I said, did you do this? Yeah, but the others. Right? They do this?
Yeah.
Okay, he teaches them to do this. Don't answer. That's okay. Alright, so Oscar's fault, no problem. So, just go. What is your explanation?
My explanation is that there are 3 numerals.
Alright, that's, yes. Who accepts her explanation? Raise your hand.
Thank you.
Alright.
I
something
know
that, you know what I'm going to say?
Yes, but
What am I
should
gonna
be saying
say?
thank you to everybody.
You think that's what I was going to say?
Well, maybe.
You know too much!
Sorry, so smart.
How long have you been going to school?
Oh gosh, really? You want me to?
No, don't answer. But you see, that's the problem. You know too much. No, I was going to tell you that you should thank some people, but not those, the ones who are coming. Who does not agree with her? These are the ones you're going to thank. Who does not accept her explanation? Raise your hand. So don't thank anyone. Oh yeah, thank him. The one person you can thank, right? Let's say, because to have a discussion, you need some people who disagree with you. But you see, you want to thank the one who agree with you. Isn't that boring?
No.
No. nice, boring?
No.
So you want the kids to agree with you?
No.
Well, basically, from the little I know you, from the very little I know you, do I think you want the kids to agree with you or to disagree with you?
To agree.
Yes.
Yes.
Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the point. And that's 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 the problem in school. Yesterday I put a funny thing. I asked the kids. I was grade 10. I put the question on the board. Should you be proud to be Australian? And I said, you say yes, you say no, and then you give a reason, right? And they all did, and we listened to all the answers. Then I asked them, do you observe any particular thing in all the answers that were given? And guess what somebody observed? What do you think?
I don't know.
No clue? Who can guess what somebody observed in the totality of the answers? Yes?
They all agreed?
They all agreed. They all said yes. And I was a little trapped because of course it's tempting. Who am I to see? And then you know what? I said, okay, since you all said yes, then you're all going to say no, and all found one reason why you should not be proud to be Australian. And there came the interesting stuff. There was people, for example, immigrants that said, there's a lot of racism, and others said, I don't like it because there are too many foreign people in the country. It was interesting, confirming, and I think that became interesting, see? But of course, these kids are well trained. Yes, I should be proud to be Australian, beautiful nature, we have freedom, we have democracy, and then the whole list. And I would say no, because we have soldiers in Iraq, right? That became, interesting. Because we don't teach the kids to come with us. Why? Because we want them to agree with us. Now, I can understand that. I don't want to argue all the time with my children, but I want to show the limits of this thing. Yes, we want people to be nice.
I agree with you, but can I say
Again, I don't want you to agree with me. I want you to disagree with me.
Well, I'm going to.
Okay. Are you a politician? I haven't done it, but I will do it next term.
I've been told that I should be a politician because I argue a lot.
Okay.
So, and I think people who do know me, and that's where some of the understanding breaks down when you're with the unfamiliar.
No, don't tell your life story. let me ask you a question. What is your assessment? We've been working now, we're going to take a break in 10 minutes. I just want to do a little quick roundup. You say, what is your assessment of what we've been doing together in one sentence? Only. Do that again. All right. Now, what deserves ooh? What deserves this ooh?
Oh, because I've gained a lot from it. And
No, what deserves this ooh?
Oh, I'll tell you what. Because look, I think this is fantastic. But I believe.
No. You know the function of but? You know the function of but?
Yes, to balance the I agree and I think it's great. So it's the other side, it's the negative side of the positive.
So when there's a but, you introduce a contradiction.
Yes.
So,
yes.
but I have a problem because you didn't finish the first part, you see?
Oh, okay.
And that's, yes, but is one of the catastrophe of thinking. Yes? Yes, because blah, 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 blah. And then you have a but because blah, 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 blah. Yes, but is a terrible, you see, the kids do that a lot. Yes, but. Yes? We don't know what this yes stands for. It's fantastic. From little I know you, you're a very nice person. And that's why I don't trust you. So, before you go, you're probably a great friend. You're a great friend, most likely. And that's why I don't trust you, because as Plato said, friendship and truth don't go together. Yes? You know?
I agree.
Oh God, can you stop it? Anyway, so before you say, you're gonna say, before you go with the but, say why it's fantastic, and then you go with the but, and we'll listen to the arguments. So we need two arguments, one for the yes, one for the no. Let's go. Why is it fantastic?
I think it's fantastic because I've learned to understand why I'm a very unpopular person. In that
Stop now. Just stop now.
Yes.
Therefore, who are you primarily concerned with in that statement?
My dialogue.
With
me and my dialogue and how I.
So who's the subject at the center of all this?
Me.
Me. Are you surprised at that?
No.
No. All right, you're used to it. Okay, no problem.
Yes.
And now, what is the but?
But I believe you know.
Stop. That's the verb you use.
Oh yes, that's what I think. I think.
Yes.
I think, you know, when we consider what we're going to impart onto children, which are some very, very powerful tools, thinking tools, just in delayed, you know, and I really like to, you know, the heads up to delay
One.
everything. Yes, I know what you're going to say.
You want a but and just one sentence. Go straight to the point.
One of the hardest things about society, I think, is to accept that people do have differing opinions. And
Stop.
And that.
No. You see the problem here?
Yeah.
You see the structure of the speech? You see
Yes.
the problem with it? We'll look where your hand is. But
Yes.
okay.
Because I've said too much.
Yeah. Just chill. Do you see the problem with all these words?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
You like that?
Yes.
Okay. Good. Who else wants to make an assessment short? Either yes, no, or it can be, you know, why it's interesting or not. What's the problem? So who else wants to assess a bit what we're doing so far? So I got ideas about the second part. Anybody? Okay.
We have been doing lots of thinking.
So you happy? Thank you. I love the silences. All right. Anybody else? The idea is not to raise the hand and not to speak at the same time.